Hi, this is Wodem, W0TM. I'm having to do a video a second time, I'm sorry to say. Um, First one, good old YouTube says, your description is too long. Well, I tried to save you the time by listing the points that I wanted to make by putting them down as descriptions. Well, it won't let me do that, so I'm going to have to read them. I apologize for that. So here goes. Name the video Flat Earth Questions. Flat Earth Questions. I do not and will not get into a discussion whether the Earth is flat, round, or shaped like a turtle. I don't care. I do have some scientific based questions no one, I don't think, has asked. I'd appreciate comments on my questions. I was a research scientist for many years and have many patents plus books to my name. Scientifically, I am not an idiot. Okay? Grant me that, please. Also, I am always civil and polite. Please be the same. No more shouting, which means exclamation points and capital letters, does not win a discussion. Save your keystrokes. They say, I'm not taking sides, I just have questions. Even though it has been a discussion subject for years, few thought or knew of this until recently. Why it took off like a rocket about 6 months ago, I have no idea. 99% of videos on this subject are yes, the world is flat, and here's the reason why, and everything up to like 3-hour documentaries. It's amazing. To post a round earth video is inviting your house to be firebombed verbally. So I have no intention of that. So I'm just asking questions. Still, because of my in-depth scientific background, those of you that subscribe to me know my background in bio and so forth, and knowledge amassed over many decades in everything from nuclear physics to chemistry to astronomy to you name it. Questions have popped up in my mind. No one has asked these questions that I know of. Please help me by providing scientific-based answers. I would appreciate it. Please. No emotion or yelling or anything but calm, reasoned, scientifically sound and complete answers to my questions. Don't go off on a tangent with your own thoughts and here's a documentary and here's videos to go to and watch and so on and so forth. Yell if you wish, but I'm not going to read them. Or be emotional, I'm not going to read them. Or take one small item and expand it into 2 hours of an Earth is Flat documentary. I'm not going to read it. But it will not, and it will not impress me. I am scientific head to toe. That's me. It's not going to change. I'm just me, okay? Here's my questions. First, a comment. In time, when true in-depth science says the world, meaning us, should be far more concerned about other matters, here we are stuck on flat Earth as a subject, as supposedly the most important subject that the world has going on. In my opinion, it is not the most important. In my opinion, we will regret our ignoring other far more important scientific matters. Examples: CERN, Mandela effect, time jumping, black goo that has become intelligent and growing with very bad intentions for all of us, believing black goo, supposedly believing that there's no room for humanity or life forms in the universe, and it's taken over. Government and NGO on purpose, man-made viruses and illnesses with the intention of reducing the world's population. That's a problem. That's major. By the way, the world is not overpopulated at 7 billion people. All 7 billion standing up would fit inside the city limits of Jacksonville, Florida. Be a tight squeeze, but that's true. Just do the math. The problem being made far worse by man on purpose. Its lack of fresh water and food to eat. That is fixable if mankind put its collective brain power to the problems. Desalinization of water, doing things that would increase the amount of food by 50 times, which is possible, but the New World Order, reference to Georgia Guidestones, if you want to know what they have in mind, want only 500 million worker bees plus themselves. Ask would any of these New World Order types, the all powerful, all wealthy, all rich, so on and so forth. Would you like to volunteer to be among those who perish? Of course not. The world needs brain power and guidance like we alone possess, that we need to not die. Don't you agree with that? No, I don't. Among other things, intermarriage amongst things like groups like the Royals, the upper crust, has left us with a bunch of low-Q idiots, in my opinion, with huge wealth and huge power, in my opinion, running things. The inmates have gotten loose and are running the asylum. I could list another dozen plus major future of our planet pressing problems more important than planet Earth. The planet has been as it is for thousands of years, and the shape, whatever it is, has hurt no one and caused no problems. Can't we focus on problems that may be leading to the destruction of the entire planet? Questions taken from my own experience and viewing other videos. Number one, I am high-tech, but my specialty, if there is one, is UHF microwave radio. In fact, I hold a key patent that allows police radars to instantly lock on. Sorry to all those who got speeding tickets. I invented it for airborne weather radar, not police radar, but the company owner sold rights to use the patent to many companies, including police radar companies. He made $25 million on it, and I made $0. That was a big reason why I became self-employed. But I never again scored a $25 million patent. But I've done okay in life, and still am. Other than fighting something, well, anyway, let me go on. UHF / radar type frequencies act like a beam of light, like a flashlight. You point it and it goes in one direction. It doesn't bend, loop, anything else. It doesn't bounce around much. Using math and curvature of an about round ball, 24,000 miles around, holding like a radar gun 6 feet off the ground, it should be received, in other words, detected, up to about 20 miles away if the signal is strong enough, before the curvature of the Earth, using math, causes the signal to head off into space. A flat Earth and a strong, amplified for test purposes, would cause the signal to be received a long distance away if the Earth was flat. This does not happen. Why not? How come it's not received 500 miles away or whatever? Another question. TV towers are very tall for one reason. The antenna itself is cheap. The tower might be $1 million plus. It is tall to transmit the TV signal a long distance to compensate for the curvature of the Earth. And I add, this is all hypothetical. Please no yelling. I am not taking sides. This is hypothetical. A flat Earth would allow a TV transmitting antenna to be on the end of a 6-foot pole and transmit just as far as if it was on top of a 2,000-foot tower. Why waste $1 million on a 1,000-foot TV transmitting tower? Got me. I'd like to know. I personally built the number 2 TV satellite receiver and dish from scrap parts in 1981. I know a lot about satellite TV and satellites in general and so on and so forth. I became one of the satellite TV experts. I've installed many satellite receiver systems, each one of them right down to the dish type ones to large ones. Each one has a dish antenna that must be aimed directly at the satellite transmitting the signal, for instance HBO, so forth. If it's off by even a few degrees, your dish on the ground, either azimuth or height, and all you see and hear is just static. A problem with satellites for two-way internet communications, by the way, is the lag time of the signals going back and forth caused by the distance from the ground to the satellite and the speed of the signal, which happens to be speed of light. So why do satellite dishes pointed skyward have to be pinpointed accurately, exactly where the data shows the stationary satellite is located? Is this a hoax? And if it's a hoax, instead of being is it being broadcast from cell towers? If so, why does direction make any difference at all? You ought to be able to point a dish in any direction you like. Nope, you've got to point it right at a spot in the sky where supposedly satellite dish is located. I've heard the statement, not a single video or picture exists of Earth from space. Well, using search engines, putting in terms like video of Earth from space brings forth not just one, but dozens, maybe hundreds of videos. Add in with stars, and stars begin to appear behind Earth. Add in live, and you pick up a few of them that claim to be live. NASA, who I've asked, tells me we blot out the stars so as not to confuse people who just want to see Earth. In fact, there is one satellite, supposedly, can't remember the name of it, supposedly halfway between Earth and the Moon, permanently pointed at Earth, that gives a continuous speed of the spinning Earth. Sure looks round to me. Are kind of like an egg, not exactly round. In fact, there are some hobbyists that have built their own systems, their own dishes and so forth, and pointed it at that satellite, and they have their own personal, they feed it into, like a monitor, TV monitor, and they sit there and they watch Earth, and they're picking up that signal and so on and so forth. That gets pretty boring, so I had no interest in, even though I built satellite systems, I don't have the interest in doing that. Using telescopes, and especially really expensive government telescopes, we can view many thousands of other celestial bodies, from close ones like Jupiter to ones far away as planets in other universes. They appear to all be round, and many of them appear to be spinning. Well, if so, how come Earth is supposedly the only flat planet? Or maybe it's all fake and the whole thing is a gigantic hologram with all the planets, all of the countries and groups and organizations and on and on and on, all involved in it, and it's one big hoax. That's tough to do, but so be it. If so, who controlled it before NASA? Seeing some celestial bodies has gone on for hundreds of years. telescopes are nothing new. You know, they were used to view other celestial bodies hundreds of years ago, including, you know, the famous guess that turned out to be wrong, that there were canals on the planet Mars, and they actually had water in them, and they could see people, and, you know, the guy just, you know, his imagination ran away with him. But by the way, the water effect of seeing objects up to 200 miles away is well known in science. Light can bend when a surface is something like ice, water, even gas. This was discovered hundreds of years ago. The atmosphere can even add a slight bend in the beam of light, radio frequency, etc. This is known and normal. In fact, when computing the radio horizon, you add in a factor of 10% to allow for that slight bending that goes on, which is quite normal. I could go on with another dozen puzzling questions, but I'd first like to see if I receive actual science-based responses or just a bunch of trolls having a good time. I hope to hear from those who are serious and polite. If not, this will be the only video I do on this. As I say, I do not take sides on this. I am more concerned about CERN opening up the gates to Hades, which is what was said in one of the speeches, but is no longer on the internet. Wonder why. The gates to hell, thinking they would be able to manipulate time, going back in time, changing history as they wish. And thus, if you own history, if you own the past, you own and control the world. No, they will instead, they will simply allow in demons, which is already happening. Bad effects are already happening. Some things are just silly, like most of Mandela effect, Bernstein Bears, and so on and so forth. As I say, there are many looming potential, ELEs, which stands for extinction level events, hanging over our planet. Personally, the shape of Earth has no bearing on whether Earth will be here in 2017 or not. But there are many other potential cataclysms we should be focused on, but we're not. It's bad enough that it's bad enough personally that if I personally possessed my own Stargate, I would jump in it and I would jump to another time. That's how bad I think things are. I don't know if we're going to get through this year. Those who predict the end times, you see a lot of videos like that, for either religious or science reasons. They say the end times are very near, prepare. They just might be right. Heaven forbid, they may be right. With that, this is W0TM Woodham signing off. Thank you very much for subscribing and listening. I'm sorry the first video didn't go through. I wanted to put all this into text, but YouTube wouldn't let me. So, go on from there. With that, we'll end it. And this is W0TM Woodham signing off. Thank you very much. Take care and see you next time. Bye.